Welcome, Forex fans. It's Rob here from eXplore here with ARA History Untold, and I'm super excited to be showcasing this game for you. I was fortunate enough to be part of the beta test program, and so I have developed some decent strategies for the beginning of the game and some things that I can showcase for you and show off to you that might help you understand the game better, especially at the beginning. So the majority of my time, which is over 100 hours with this game now, was trying to break this game, or at least try to figure out what didn't work. And so maybe my strategies aren't exactly game strategies that will last for the entire game, but I can give you a good idea of what it is that you need to do here to make this game work for you and to have fun with it. So the game is very much focused on supply chains and using resources to improve the quality of life of your people, and we're going to talk more about that as we get through. So we're going to start the new game. There's a lot of leaders here, and there's a couple here that I think that are probably your best bets for your beginning players, right? Because the beginning player really wants to focus on quality of life in your cities, and there are a couple leaders that make that a bit easier. Cesar, because you get the happiness and prosperity bonuses for your cities. You also get some other stuff that helps out. And then, of course, Eva Perón. She's probably the one that I think does the best with quality of life and keeping prestige high, and we're going to use her because I think that's going to be the best way for me to show you some of the gameplay mechanics without worrying too much about the quality of life stuff and the prestige numbers that sometimes can get you really derailed. So we're going to go ahead and select. I'm going to create. And I'm going to try to explain to you the decisions I'm making while I'm making them so that you understand what it is that I'm looking at and what it is I'm considering with my build choices and my other choices, right? So this will hopefully give you like a good idea of how to start this game and where your focuses should be so that you can feel good about your prospective civilization. All right, here we go. So we're about to get started. And there we go. All right, so we're just going to skip this. We'll begin. We'll zoom out to see where we're at. So we're at Buenos Aires, right? And the main focus of this game is to keep your prestige numbers high, right? So you're going to come up here. You're going to see that we're already at 26. That's because we just founded our nation. Everybody else is going to found their nation, and it's going to be all about 26 as well. But Eva Perón does a very good job of keeping our quality of life and our government very high. So you're going to see quality of life down here. And quality of life is going to be very important to keep your prestige numbers high if that's the kind of thing that you're focused on for right now. And it will be for us, at least for the first couple of tech eras, right? And I think that Eva Perón does a very good job of this, and it makes it easier to understand the gameplay mechanics and game flow as you get started. So we have our scout. We have our very beginning scout. There are things that you're going to be using your scout for, particularly trying to find equipment caches and stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and send the scout to that spot first. Secondly, we're going to look into our first city, right? So here are the quality of life things that I was talking about. See, these are actually pretty high for a starting city. In fact, some of the leaders end up with below 50, which anytime you're below 50, you start to lose out on something. But here, when you're like at 70 for happiness, you gain a production bonus of 25%. If you have a health bonus of 60, you get 10% city growth, stuff like that, that we're going to really look forward to making sure stays high so that our cities are flourishing pretty much, right? We're going to come back to our build order here in a second. And the other things I want to talk about too are just the main menu items. Here we have our government. All right, we're stuck with chiefdom right now. We're going to get some opportunities to change that as we go on. Religion, we'll be able to found a religion later on. Paragons, they're the leaders of our games, and we use those to increase quality of life and stuff like that, or increase bonuses to production and stuff like that. Here's our regions. We're going to be able to look at all these regions, and it's basically like an overlay that helps us figure out which regions are best for us. And then our advisors. These are where we're going to be putting our paragons, our leaders, and they're going to end up adding bonuses to these various slots here. Come over here, and we've got our goals. These goals are going to be presented to us as we play the game. They're going to be like, hey, if you build this one building first, you're going to get a huge prestige bonus, so on and so forth. We have our crafting menu. So we're going to talk about that here in a second. I'll come back to this. This is where our inventory is for our different crafting stuff. Last couple things, we have our masterpieces. That's not going to come into play for just a bit, but Paragons will be able to create masterpieces, which will also give us prestige bonuses. and then finally our diplomacy. So with that being said, let's look to our city, and let's look to create what I think is probably the first thing I always create is the dwelling, and that's because it creates sorry, let me go ahead and hit shift here. It creates a city production bonus, city housing, all this other stuff that we really just want to kind of jumpstart here. So we're going to go ahead and hit city dwelling. And then because our food is only at +1, we're going to go ahead and create a farm as well. And then because we're going to need to create more things through our crafting menu, we're going to add the workshop as well. All right, so we've got those queued up. Second thing is that we're going to look at our crafting menu here, okay? So right now we are crafting feasts. Feasts add a growth bonus to our city. They add city food and add city happiness. So eventually we're going to be able to craft these and then start adding amenities, which are things like this, to our cities to increase those things that we just talked about. So city growth, city food, city happiness. But we're not there yet because we don't have any feasts yet. In fact, we're going to go ahead and make this indefinite. And then what we can do is we come over here and accelerate production by using food or wealth. Right now we have more wealth than food, so we're going to go ahead and use wealth. And that means every 9 turns we're going to have this. We can go ahead and just hit the wealth button again. Still have an increase, like a surplus of wealth. And it's now reduced it to 1 every 6 turns, which is going to be a little bit better. We could do it again, right? One more time. But I don't want to keep just dropping my wealth on it, especially since that'll make us right at like a neutral. We will be neither losing or gaining wealth at that point, and I'd rather just have a little bit of wealth as we can start to get a surplus of that so we can buy things out and stuff like that. So yes, the feast is very important. We'll get that as soon as possible, and we will start to increase our growth rate for our city, our main city here. But while we're looking at it, let's look at stuff we were going to do. So I also, I meant to mention this. I also like to create spearmen first. I should have done that. We're going to do spearmen right after the dwelling. And that's because the spearmen can hunt these wildlife, right? So we've got predators out here. We've got a wolf here. We're going to find more. And as we hunt these wildlife, we're going to be able to accumulate more resources and get bonuses to like various things. So we want to do that. Let's zoom in on these wolves. How cool is that? You can zoom in and see that they're all just hanging out. You can come over here and you can look to these grapes. Yeah, the quality of life, or the quality of detail, is just really great. And it's called a living world, I think is what they've called it. But it's just really cool to be able to zoom in on all these things and see, you know, just the various things that litter the map here. And it creates a very like living world feel, which I love a lot. So, all right, let's get started. So I'll tell you this, right? I run a very strong computer, and this is recording. So I'm running a 3080 Ti and a really strong processing. And I don't normally have too much lag or frame rate drops when I'm just playing without the video recorder, but I've noticed the video recording drops it almost by half. So right now I'm only at about 40 frames per second, and that is not indicative of what I've been seeing. Now, unfortunately, like I said, the recording software is going to drop that regardless, but you're going to see some frame rate drops, and I've already started to notice them. So we'll come over here. We've founded our first city. We've also spotted some caches. We're going to go ahead and click those off. We're going to go to our next turn. All right, so they're going to go ahead and collect that, and we're going to go ahead and take on the next, or our very first technology, right? Well, what do we do here? So we have some grapes here, and grapes are good for the creation of wine. And if we come over here to fermenting, you can see that wine actually increases city happiness. So we can do that, but we're not really in the place to be doing too many amenities right now. So I'd rather come to somewhere like this, right? So we can do city health and city knowledge with an apothecary. And also we can create the herbal medicine, which also adds to city health, which if we do that, city health increases our growth rate. So we're going to go ahead and start with that this time. Now, I wouldn't normally start with this one, but this seems like a good start for this one. And then we'll go to archery probably, because I'd like to use archers to attack more of these wildlife. All right. So we've collected feast, which is great. Since we've collected that feast, we're going to go ahead and drop that feast here. And it's going to add food, happiness, and city growth. And of course, here we go. So now we are now at a 50% bonus production for our city. And we're already off to a good start. So our units are idle. We're going to go ahead and bring this one up to this place. And we'll continue our turns. Our cache has been discovered. Our amenity was activated. So now our growth rate's higher and everything like that. We collected a cache of a plow. So plows are going to be good for things. So if we come up here, we can actually look at our goods, right? And plows, if you can see, they're crafted at workshops, crafting guilds, and factories. They're used as supply at industrial farms, and irrigated farms. And they, as a supply, also increase harvest production. So I'll show you that once we get some of these buildings up. We can use those supplies to increase like our food rate, or I don't think you can use them as timber, but we'll look at it, okay? All right, come over here. We'll grab this resource cache here. There's some polar bears. Polar bears are probably the hardest animals to hunt. They're very dangerous. All right, now we've got a feast that we've crafted ourselves. We've collected a cache of 20 materials, 2 metal ingots, and sculpting material. Those all come into play as we progress through the game. We've completed our dwelling, and we have an idle unit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set this to auto explore. I'm going to let them pick up the caches as they can. And we've created a claim, which is great. So we can now look to taking on a new territory that's going to add resources to our resource production. But also we want to look at places where we have special resources, right? And these special resources are going to add to, like, this one's going to add to grain. And then grain, or it will give us grain, I should say. And grain's used to craft various things like bread, beer, syrup, and other things that are going to help us, you know, again, keep that quality of life high and keep our resources high. But we're not quite at that point yet, so we want to see if we can find a territory that's going to help us with our shortcomings right now. And right now we're only creating 2 timber, and this one's going to have 3 timber and 2 material. So that's going to be a good territory to take for a while we're kind of building up our infrastructure here. All right, so now we've taken it. We're going to have that now, and we will now continue. So we've got a claim that's taken. Spearman has completed training in Buenos Aires. And so now what we've done is, the great thing and the cool thing about this game is that you train these military units at any city, but then you can turn around and deploy them at any city as well. So we're going to go ahead and deploy this spearman here at Buenos Aires, but if we had other cities, we'd be able to deploy them there as well. So we're going to use that. We're going to go ahead and deploy it. And we've got herbalism, which is great. So next thing, we're going to look at what we've got here. So do we see anything that stands out? We've got the grapes. We could do fermenting. I do know that one of the things I want to do early is create the Stonehenge. And Stonehenge needs 5 lithic tools and 5 rope. So let's go ahead and do the lithic tools first, which are here, right? Sorry, not plow. No, that's not where they are. That's not where they are. I thought that's where they were. I think actually we already have access to them. 1 second, please. If we go to our workshop, let's go ahead. We haven't built it yet. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll rush the farm here. But the lithic tools are already in the workshop that we're about to build. But that's something we already can build. So we're going to go ahead and take the rope making now so we can start building ropes as well. And by build, I mean craft. I know that I keep saying that. I'm sorry. All right. So now we have these guys. We're going to go ahead and start hunting some of these animals. You can hunt animals with the scout, but they're clearly not as powerful. They have a strength of 3, whereas the spearmen have a strength of 5, and they're usually better at just hunting some of these animals. So I usually do that just to have these guys scout, and then these guys take out the predators. All right, let's come over here too. We can now rush the workshop as well. I'm going to rush it just because I want to get things going here. Once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and look to what we've crafted. So we've also gained some fur and food from the predators we've taken out. We have a cache that we've taken from the scout with a metal ingot in it. We now have the workshop. Lost 10 health. And then, yeah, we're going to keep doing this. All right, so our craft queue is empty. We're going to go ahead and go to that craft queue. And now our lithic tools are here, right? So we're going to go ahead and add indefinite, yep. And we're going to add that the materials to make them faster. We can also add wealth or timber. Timber is something we could probably deal with. Looks like we have more wealth, so we're going to go ahead and do that instead. And now we're going to create lithic tools every 3 turns, which is good. So now we have the lithic tools being created every 3 turns, and we have the rope that's going to be created here in a little bit. We're going to have to create a second workshop so that we have the ropes being created or crafted at the same time that our lithic tools are, so that we can get to the Stonehenge as quickly as possible. All right, so now we've built all these things, right? We've built our dwelling, we've built our farm, and we've built our workshop. And now we can look to build the apothecary. I think that's a good start for us, right? Because it's going to add to city health, it's going to add to city knowledge, and I think that's a really good start for us. And we can also now then build the medicine, the herbal medicine after that increases our city health even further. So we're going to go ahead and drop that here. And we'll get that going in 6 turns. And then once that's there, that's going to do a nice little number on our quality of life here. So we'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, some of these frame rate drops are pretty significant. Which is wild because I didn't really have frame rate drops at all until I started recording. Alright, so let's look over here. We can take on tigers. Tigers are pretty strong. So there's 3 hunts required, and they're also a danger of 5. So it looks like tigers and polar bears are our #1 killers. So we're going to try to take out wolves and stuff before we start taking on stuff like tigers. It looks like we've already gained a paragon, which is great. So let's look to our paragon selection here. So we can consider what we need, right? And honestly, some of the things that we'll see, some of these bonuses are actually better than what they look. So a +1 speed and +3 strength to scouts and settlers is actually really good for us right now. So especially for scouts, right? +3 strength to scouts. If we start building more scouts, they'll actually be stronger than our spearmen. And the speed actually helps too. So I'm going to take that for now, even though the +5 research per turn is also very good. I want to start really knocking things out, and I think this speed and strength bonus is actually is pretty significant, especially in the beginning of the game. So we're going to go ahead and take that.
Nacy, Egyptian official and presumed leader.
And we're going to add them to our domestic slot. All right, and so you'll see up here, now our scouts are 6 strong. And they're cheaper to build than the spearmen as well, I believe. Actually, I might not be right with that. No, they're not. They're cheaper to build. No, they're not at all. They're not at all. Oh, well. But at least we have a stronger scout now, and the scout can help with some of the predators laying around as well. So we'll add another spearman at the end of that, and we'll keep going. Tribe met. All right. So we've met our first tribe, San Juan. Looks like they're a little unfriendly, which is fine. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit because that seems to be keeping my frame rates okay. It's wild because we didn't have frame rate issues. I don't know if that's a recent issue. So lithic tools, new biome, temperate forest. So the temperate forest is up here, which is great. Discovered new biomes, and then we have an event.
An invitation arrives at the capital. It seems the son of the tribe's chieftain is getting married, and everyone.
So here we try. I always try to think of what's going to be best for me in the long run, and I always take prestige bonuses where I can. In this case, because we have more wealth than food, I'm going to go ahead and use the -25 wealth for the 10 prestige. I did not, actually. I had more food than wealth. I lied. I wish I could see that, actually, before I made that decision. But it is what it is. All right. Great, we've gained a rope, and we also now have the ability to build Stonehenge. So what I want to do is I want to queue up another workshop. We're going to look at expanding our city one more time. There's 4 wood and 2 materials. That's actually really good for right now. I know that I really want to start getting some of these resources, but I'm going to go ahead and drop that here and take that 4 wood and 2 resources, or 2 materials. Okay, so next. Well, we don't have access to anything husbandry related yet. I don't see any animals that we could use to cultivate. So the other side of it is we can start to look at grain storage. So the granary boosts the harvest production of all farms within its region. And of course, food, you guys don't know this yet, but food becomes a huge issue towards the end of the game. It's something that you really have to focus on. And so that'll be something way more important as we progress. But for now, let's look at what else we'd want. I think the archery is what we want. We can get the watchtower for some additional strength to forces within a region and added city security, which is important. City security adds to our 4 strengths within our borders. So, actually, I don't know if it's within our borders or not. It doesn't say. I imagine it is. Like 10% 4 strength. Yeah, that makes sense. It's within our borders. And of course, archers are good for the added ability to, like, create a better composition for our armies, right? So archery, and we'll do this and get the archery and also hunting camps, which is good for added wealth. So we'll take that too. All right. Units are idle. We're gonna go ahead and not take on all of those polar bears. We'll go back up to the wolves up here. And then we have cache of some caches that we've uncovered, and then we took some fur, and we lost 10 health hunting that wolf. All right, good. So now we added some additional timber and additional materials, which is good because we'll need these. These are really important for the beginning of the game. So, event.
Boy, no older than 16 enters your court, springing with excitement. He
Oof.
explains that he and his friends were climbing trees, and while sitting atop a giant oak, he spotted a raised and
Okay, we're going to take
I'm
the boy and his friends. So negative 10 security is probably going to be a much smaller hit than the 10 happiness. I really like happiness and growth. And the ceramic pots and jewelry are good. So the jewelry is a consumable. So it's going to give us prosperity and city happiness. And we're going to go ahead and drop that up. So that means now our city happiness is almost at 100% city production bonus. And then our prosperity is going to add 75% income from this city. Not that that's really doing much here. We're crafting quite a bit, so it's adding to our expenditures. Our cash was collected, 15 materials, great. We got a new apothecary, and our jewelry consume bonus was happening. So we've got the apothecary, which is going to add to our city health. All right. I thought it added more than that. Oh, it's only 5 city health. Okay, but it is 10 city knowledge, so that's great. So we're now at plus 25% research from this particular city. Again, something we really want to keep an eye on, right? That quality of life stuff. As you can see, we're still number 1. In fact, we're more than double the number 2 spot for our prestige, because we're really going to focus, again, really going to focus on the quality of life stuff. And also just keep a close eye on everything we're crafting, so that we're crafting things that are important to our overall well-being here. So here we are. We're going to go ahead and herbal medicine. We're going to go ahead and add to it. It's going to create one every 15 turns. I'm not in a huge rush to get it, so I'm going to leave it just as it is. It's also going to add city health. We could add, wealth or mandrake, but it looks like wealth negative 50 per turn, and I don't have mandrake. So we'll come back. If we do find mandrake, we'll come back and add that to it. I don't see any mandrake. Nope, no mandrake. All right, and we'll go to our next turn. Crafting completed. We have lithic tools. And let's see what we're doing with that. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Lithic tools, we have 2. And then what were we going to do? Also, we needed rope. Yeah, we needed rope. But we needed to finish that workshop first. So after that one turn, we'll create another spearman. And then we'll have our workshop created. So let's go ahead and add one more. We'll go ahead and deploy it from Buenos Aires. And we'll keep hunting animals. Hunting them dead. Alright. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. My bad. Alright. And we've discovered a new biome, taiga.
You have entered a golden age.
Oh, we've already created a golden age. Alright, so we're going to gain 25% prestige to everything that, like, every prestige hits. Every little prestige bonus, we're going to gain additional 25% every turn. So, lithic tools created. We got some stuff from our predators. Our spearmen lost health attacking those wolves. And that unit is now idle. So, let's go ahead and attack this now. And we're in a golden age. Oh, it looks like I have to do it. Alright. Funny enough, it says 10 turns, and then it says 15 turns remaining. I'm not sure which one's which. We'll find out. Oh, it says 15 turns. So, I guess the text needs to be changed. Alright. Where's my second spearman? Oh, he's coming. He's coming. There we go. We have archers now. We're going to go ahead and drop him. We'll bring him this one over here. And we're going to look to pottery now, because pottery is good for a bunch of stuff. Like, look at all these things. All the, like, major triumphs will need the ceramic pots here. So we're going to go ahead and take that. And now that we have our workshop created in one more turn, we'll have the ropes going. Feast created. Alright, we're going to come down here and just knock all these out. We have an idle unit. We'll go ahead and slide him up to attack the wolves here. Come back to... There we go. Alright. I think what we'll do... We're going to do a couple more turns, and then we'll call it an episode. Construction of a new workshop. Very good. So now what we'll do is we'll look to see what we're going to build next. So a wolf's there. We're not going to be able to do anything there. We'll go ahead and click on this and see what we've got. The apothecary's already been built. We've got a... How's our... You know what we'll do a hunting camp for the additional money. We need some more wealth. So... And then our crafter's idle because we just built it. So our ropes are coming. And we'll add wealth to that. Oh, no, we can't. We had silk. We have one piece of silk. It's going to be depleted in one turn. So it won't even add to that. So it'll reduce the overall number, but we're going to need to get our wealth up so that we can create those ropes faster. Alright, next turn. Crafting completed, predators cleared, unit leveled up, great. Hunters injured. So how bad are they injured? Not bad, not bad at all. We'll keep taking out wolves. Our unit's idle. There's a cougar there. Even if he hit us twice for 35, we'd be okay. We'll go ahead and take him out. So this is one of those acts or those goals that I was talking about. So now I have to build one palace, and I'll gain 100 prestige if I'm the first one to build it. Alright, so that's an act goal that we've just now been given. Alright. Our queue is almost empty. We're going to go ahead and queue up settlers now, because this game does have a bit of a colony rush thing going for it. As soon as you can build settlers, you should. And then start to look for a place that you want to settle. I don't see anything really particularly stand out yet. So maybe this is a decent spot. We'll see what's down there as well. Alright. Nation rankings. We're almost triple We're doing great. We're doing great. Actually, no, that's not triple. Lord, I can't do math at all. Almost double. All right, cash. Hunter's injured. Yeah, they have been injured by the cougars. All right, feast, food, and more fur. And we'll take these guys down here to explore this area to see if there's anything worth colonizing down that way. Some white-tailed deer up here. I don't really see much else. Yeah, there's not much in the way. Oh, is that meteorite? Yeah, meteorite. That's good for later, but not yet. We'll need this, of course. Copper deposit for metal ingots. We can just take our city down that way. So we'll see what's going on down here. And you keep attacking these wolves. Alright. One more turn, and then we'll go ahead and call this an episode. And our crafting has been completed. Our cash was collected. The jewelry's been used again. Our quality of life is still very high, which is great. Our hunting camp is just a few turns away, and that'll help us create some more wealth. And yeah, the goal right now for me is to... I'm going to expand. That's definitely the next thing. And then we're going to try to work towards creating, or crafting, I should say, the required materials for the Stonehenge, so that we can get that going, because that'll give us a huge prestige bonus, and we really want to just keep knocking that out. Just do fun stuff like that. All right, so stay tuned for episode 2 coming soon. Thanks for watching. This is Rob from eXplore. Keep exploring.